Good evening, everyone. It is time for the Sunday Night Ragchew. Michael, welcome.
Howdy, y'all. How's everyone doing tonight?
How we doing all? Let's sound off. Who we got? Chris, Scott. And Chris, I think, was one of those who kept posting telling other live streams that I was there live, but so I appreciate the shout outs, trying to get people to come over to my live when I was in Tokyo. And sorry guys, my camera's on an auto white balance, so it's acting up. So anyway, Andrew, welcome. James, welcome. Scott, Chris, yep, welcome guys. Tonight, Scott, I couldn't get that video to work, by the way, so if you're able to do that test when the time comes, I would appreciate it. Welcome, Rob. All right, everything looking good. Michael, how's it going? Michael dropped a video today.
Yes, sir. Dropped a little video, just a normal Friday and Saturday for me. Kind of a hot day and just life living in the city. Welcome for
Life is living in the city. How does that song go? Living in the city, something like that.
God,
all right, guys. So
high school flashbacks here.
Yeah, tonight I thought we'd talk a little bit. The other channels have done it, so maybe everyone's talked out, so we won't spend too much time on it because we all know what we want to get to. Oh yeah. Now this is an unused can. This is what I drank last trip. It's a maca root. Maca no Genki. Genki is happy or energy, so it's like happy maca root drink. Anyway,
is that legal?
We'll get to that. Yeah, it's maca root. I buy
is that
maca
legal
root
in the US?
on,
the happy juice.
yeah, they've got a ton of those different ones. I think I buy more of that than actually food when I'm there. I drink a ton of them. The person at the cash register at the 7-Eleven or Family Mart, it's like a 7-Eleven. Is probably thinking I'm some kind of an addict to it or something, but yeah, Chris, I appreciate it. There was someone else, and I don't remember who. I'm sorry if you're in here, but I do appreciate the shout outs in Josh's and other streams when I was live streaming. As I went back and watched some of those, when I got home, the first thing I did was try to catch up on other YouTubers' videos and stuff. So I appreciate it. Tonight we will go over a little bit of kind of what went on at the ham fair, and so what I did was I live streamed. It's a little over 2 hours, and again, I started. I can't remember why, but I started horizontal or vertical, forgetting that you can't switch to horizontal. So unfortunately, it was horizontal, but just watch it on your phone or a really big screen TV like Scott did, and then it looks normal. And then, or you watch it on TikTok. It's 2 parts, and the individual radio videos are also on TikTok, and it all fits on the phone just right. It should be on TikTok anyway. So what I thought we'd do is kind of get a poll kind of going. If we can pop a poll up here and see what get your guys' comments and what you guys thought of these new radios coming out. Mostly from of course, Icom, Yaesu, and Kenwood. The Yaesu and Icom I knew was coming out, but I did not know about the Kenwood until someone in my live stream mentioned it. So I went to that one and checked that one out too, which that one, they had the least amount of information. They didn't have a flyer. or anything. So it was just what I could see and glean from the images that were there.
Scott says, I like the looks. Oh, I forgot I could post these comments here. Scott
Yeah,
likes
feel
the
free to
looks
post
of the
whatever.
Yaesu. In fact, I was talking to Paul on the phone after the live stream, and man, if they can get, you have the 857, which was a mobile, all mode, all band rig. If they can come back with one of those with that kind of display on there on mobile, I would definitely want one. Let's just say that. But
Oh, and by the way, guys, tonight should be the first time Rumble is live streaming. So if you check out Rumble, I should be on there as well. I think I finally figured it out.
it looks like X.
Yeah, the icon looks huge in size. I get that a lot, Scott. Oh, the icon.
Yeah,
Never mind.
honestly, I wasn't as impressed with the icon. I mean, it's like they're trying to pack everything into one unit. I get that, and but it seemed like it was a pretty menu intensive type radio compared to like your PS990S that Kenwood has, where you have lots of knobs and buttons and you have quick ways of getting there. The Icom just seemed like a huge box with as much as they could pack into it, and you're going to access everything through menus just like you would with a Flex or any other SDR type radio.
I'm just grabbing something real quick here. See if I can get this to work.
Josh showed some kind of blacked out 2 meter 70 centimeter on Friday before the Icom announcement. That looked really cool. Okay.
Let's see if this works, guys.
James has been eyeballing the 705 for some years now. Yaesu is going to do well with that 1F. I do like the 1F. I love the display on that. Put that in a mobile, I'll be very happy.
I just want to make sure the audio doesn't play on this. Oh yeah, it's for vertical. That ain't gonna work.
Duck.
It was cool to do the countdown, and I was trying to be loud so that and people started counting down.
And Chris,
so
Chris said Rumble's awesome, and believe it or not, Chris, I just logged into Rumble for the first time ever. I just brought it up the first time in my life.
Yeah, so what I've been doing, Rumble is finicky. I finally figured it out. You actually have to set the live up on Rumble separate. And then when you record through, then you give the new server UL and stream key to StreamYard, and then it does it. I see it says record in progress on my Rumble screen. So it's been a pain in the butt. I can't do anything on X. I can't live stream because I'm not a premium person. So Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble now should be the ones that I'm able to get to. I haven't yet figured out to see if TikTok is doing it or not. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried. Mostly I just wanted YouTube and Rumble.
Evening, Dan. Good to see you here.
All right, so I'm going to pull up my video. And let me go full screen so that, let's see.
So James is saying while you're doing that, if they perfect the remote hit on the Icom folks would definitely have a winner in the 705. Wish they would go with the next step.
4, 3,
Okay, tell me if you're hearing the sound or not. Are you hearing that?
Yes.
Oh, you do hear the video?
Yes.
Oh, okay, very cool. So yeah, that's Ray right there, and the camera you're seeing is his live stream to Josh. And I appeared on there briefly. Ray flipped the camera, and I just said hi real quick. But so basically, guys, you've seen it probably before. That box is the main radio unit, and then it's got the remote head. The size of this box, the closest thing I could think of was my first IBM 286 box. If any of you guys know, it was huge.
Right.
I mean, you guys remember all the boards that we saw in some of the other live streams at the other Ham Fest, right? So that we knew it was going to be some kind of large box. So it's cool though that with the remote head. The remote head is a nice. I was telling Scott earlier on the phone, maybe double the size of a 705, or 2 to 3 times maybe the size, 2.5 times. No, so not huge. Looks beautiful on the desk. So for $6,000, it can be yours. The second screen was kind of cool, kind of a neat idea. I also noticed you can change that. I saw another image on the brochure showed that screen as having the bands, so you can probably change that screen to multiple bands. I don't know if you're able to see it very well, but it's because of the stupid light. But if you look right here, you can see that it's the bands. And then with the touch screen, you can just change bands right there on that screen. Waterfall, and I would imagine probably a few other screen options, which is kind of cool.
Scott, I agree with you on that. I just wasn't as impressed with the Icom. I don't know why, but maybe if I played with it a while, I might be interested in it. But it is huge compared to the Flex.
Yeah, it's definitely a direct competitor to the 101 MP and smaller profile. If you just compare what's on top of the desk, it's definitely smaller than the 101 MP. I'm just not someone who has 6,000 to spend on it. I mean, if I was on acreage with, a couple towers and Yagis, and then yeah, it might be worth it to do something like that. But yeah, no thanks. So let's move on to any other comments on the ICOM or comments, ideas, thoughts that you guys may have on that. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Are you talking about the remote head, James?
Yeah. No, just the price of the Flex. The Flex is a smaller unit, but I'm not the biggest Flex fan personally, but
I think Flex is a beautiful radio, but I do like my 101D because I do like the knobs. Sometimes I don't want to go into the software, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, Flex is definitely nice. What the lowest Flex is? What, 3,000 something, or what is the price range of the Flex radios? I know they got a few. I agree, Chris. Better uses
than the 6K. So let's a Flex run. I know it's like the top end, the 6,700 or whatever it is now. It's pretty pricey.
And then this is what kind of blew me away. Right here, to actually have the USB, is it B? USB B?
Right
there. They don't have a USB-C in it. I don't get that. I really don't understand that.
Well, I understand the USB-As, and because you're going to have, if you're going to have like a mouse or a keyboard or something you want to plug into it, so you can do digital modes with it, that makes sense. But that's a printer cable connector as far as
this is the other style, and the only time I've had something like this, I think, is for my like external hard drives and stuff, backup drives. So yeah, it's got this on the main unit, and then the other USB-B on the remote head. I got stuff recently, two things. From Amazon, not radio related, and they came in and it was micro USB. I sent it right back. I'm not getting anything more unless it's got C on it.
Yeah. So, what are the advantages of having USB-C in a unit like that compared to the other?
I mean, is there a data? Because again, the only time I've seen this has been on backup drives. Does this have higher transfer speeds than a USB-C? Those of you that know, I think USB-C like 5.
Yeah, James, my Signal Link uses a USB-B. So
this is a 3, because I remember this on like I had an old iOmega external backup drive, and this was on my old iOmega, and then I had a newer HP that had the flat cable with a little groove in it. And I don't know what that one is either. But maybe there's a use. You guys that know more about it, the differences can maybe comment here, Chris or James. eSATA, okay. Welcome. So maybe there's a use, guys. I don't know. I really lost interest. Just seeing, it was cool to see it, and I was more there to kind of show other people, and because this is not a radio I ever planned on getting, but it was exciting to see a new radio reveal, and they make a really cool deal out of it there with the curtain, or the blankets and the countdowns, and and everything is so proper in Japan,
The
right?
stellar music that came up. That
Yeah.
was one thing that I love about the Japanese culture. Besides them being a real polite culture, but they're real formal on things. And the opening ceremony, especially that was interesting, where they all had their suits and they had the ribbon on their chest. The ribbon for the committee members, and then they pulled out the white gloves to do the ribbon
Yeah.
cutting. Very formal, very cool.
So yeah, guys, the white gloves is something they do with everything. Taxi drivers, practically every not places like, not a McDonald's or anything like that, food services, but kind of those what would you call that kind of stuff? Not catering, but just the kind of things, you're being driven in a taxi, it's a white glove thing. You're being showcased some new product, it's a white glove thing. So kind of like the black tie affair type of mentality, maybe.
So
Okay, let me
Scott
go to this
commenting
one
on
now.
the Icom says, I want to hear that it filters sound when they come out with it. So
Yeah, maybe it'll beat the 101, because who knows? I mean, everything is going to get better as we go along.
but James is commenting, well, that's not what I wanted to do, but here we go. This is the comment I meant. The Kenwood and the Yaesu are in the affordable category. I think Icoms traditionally run a little more expensive. Am I incorrect in that assumption? Does everything
Well, look,
Icom run a little bit more expensive?
well, I think Kenwood too. Look at Kenwood's HT. What is it? $700?
Yes, it's a premium when you have those things. But Paul, I like seeing how
Yeah.
people exchange business cards. It was very formal, and there's a specific way
Yeah.
to exchange them. Now, I've actually watched. There's videos on there explaining how you can do that. I think John Dobb with Only in Japan talks about that, and so does Chris Broad and Abroad in Japan. But Paul, you need to have business cards for the next ham deal. So
Yeah, guys, I actually did. Hold on. I made some quick ones that my friend there that I went with, Walt, I think it was his son. I can't remember. Someone said, hey, he should get cards made. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea, because an event in Japan or meeting and stuff like that is not complete without the exchange of business cards. Hold on.
while he's doing that, yeah, the FPM 500 is expensive, and that's what I want on my truck. I just can't afford it right now. I agree, Scott.
Yeah, but Scott, the difference between that and the others, that $700 one, Kenwood is beautiful, but it's an HT. You're comparing a 550-watt nice mobile with an HT. So yeah, I got a couple. Here's a couple of them here. Here's the guy with the CANtenna. So I got a few of those, and then I just made these up real quick. If you can see them, it's kind of bright.
Yeah.
Anyway, just real quick, I threw it together and printed them out just to be able to kind of get my name out over there. I met two YouTubers and kind of talked with them. Hey, there's Walt. Walter, how's it going, man? Welcome. I wasn't sure if you'd make it or not. Yeah, we're talking over about the new radios real quick, and then we'll move to the CANtenna. So real quick, guys, we'll go straight to but that's Walt in there. Walter Capelli is my buddy who we went with, and big thanks to him, because I only had one hand. He was putting my name out to people and grabbing I got a whole bag full of brochures and stuff, and that was thanks to Walter. So yeah, thanks, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna start planning it every year.
And to Chris's comment here, you said you handed one business card, and how the guy held on to it was very interesting. The business card is almost like your persona. When you hand it to somebody, they're gonna show you the ultimate respect they can to that card, and show that they put value in the card because that is of you. And you won't ever see somebody take the card and put it in their back pocket. That's just not going to happen in Japan.
Yeah, the proper, I couldn't do it because my hand, one hand, I only had one hand. The proper method is to one person will offer the card, and it's with two hands facing you so you can read it with a slight bow, and then you take that and then you offer yours back, two hands, slight bow, and that's kind of the uh, traditional way to offer it, the proper way to offer it. So I was unable to do that, but they understand too if you got your hand full of with a camera. There's that Kenwood. It's beautiful, but I think it's over $700. I just don't. It's crazy.
Yeah, their handhelds are very, very expensive.
And it's funny right here at the bottom. It says in Japanese, it says Kenwood ARC, Amateur Radio Club. So they must be linked to something there. Okay, so comments, guys. I think someone had a question. Scott, question about the screen size. The screen size, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the first time we went up, and he had this plexiglass box on it. So there's a reflection, and I'll be honest, guys, the screen wasn't great. I really don't know if this was ready to be shown because I can't imagine that this is the screen with all the color screens out there. The main area with the frequencies was monochrome. It was black and white. But this little bar at the top, there's GPS here and Bluetooth, APRS, everything was up here. This was all color. All these icons were color. So I'm not sure what that was about. But again, it's still being worked on, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a smaller screen to me. There's more buttons, and the case is taking up more of the space there. But now when it comes to viewing a frequency in a mobile type unit, something you're going to have in your vehicle while you're driving, monochrome might be a better option. I'm not saying
I mean that's true, but man, I love my 400 screen.
Yeah, I love the 400 too.
And in answer to that, Scott, the screen on this is probably just slightly larger than the Yaesu 400, the screen, but the body of this is probably 20% bigger overall than the 400. I think because the front speaker. If they got rid of that front speaker, it would probably be about the same size. But that front speaker is probably the best feature of this. But it has Bluetooth, this has USB-C, GPS, APRS. It has all of it. But yeah, that speaker
cool
in the
to
front.
have a D-Star unit with APRS because
Yeah,
D-Star for the longest time wanted you to use exclusively their DPRS, which is not. It links to the same servers and such, but if you're off, if you're offline without using the internet, using a receive antenna, and the groups want to use APRS for, say, a search and rescue or a bike ride or whatever, the Icom DPRS system is just not going to receive on the same system. So I'm glad they have APRS.
This Kenwood video is a split. We went there in the beginning. Walter and I went back to show anybody who may have missed the beginning of the stream. And this time, the guy lifted the plexiglass for me so I could hopefully get a clearer shot. Let's see if I can. It's going to be hard to smooth it out for a clear shot of the video. So you can see the USB-C SD card, remote head, and mic, I think is what. Oh, no. The mic is on the head. No, that's the mic too, I think. I think there's two options for, that's mic and the head right here. And then I thought there was another option for the head on the left side of this. I think is another mic option. But there's the head. No model number, not a lot of information on this. So if this changes drastically, then I would have to say that they probably jumped the gun on showcasing and revealing this.
Yeah, you stated you had heard nothing about this radio coming out, and I haven't either. So,
Yeah, and
all the
Walter,
fanfare has been for the new Icom. So,
and I don't think there was a flyer or a handout for this, right, Walt? If I remember correctly. And I looked through the bags, I didn't see any, so there was really not much. For the best view of this, actually, you have to go to this screen right here, which is the big 20-foot wall behind it. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see in there. See how the Bluetooth is blue, and this GPS satellite is kind of a yellowish color. So this top bar was color. Oh, that's right. You're right. That's right. He said, yeah, it's coming out later. So I'm sure they'll release more information online now as we go forward.
and Jordan's saying that they made the announcement a while back.
All right,
So
let's go to the Yaesu. And I didn't know about this, right? They announced this the day before, so I saw some posts on it, and then this kind of got me excited. And then when I went and saw it,
All right, guys,
I got
let's
very
go check it out.
excited. And I pre-ordered this one. So FTX-1F, as we all know, same size basically as the 705. For those who know the size of the 705, so it's a direct competitor with that. USB-C, full duplex, which was some great information. And it's funny when he told it to me. He says his English. That's the other thing about Japanese. If I start in a conversation in Japanese, they'll usually reply in Japanese out of respect. If they came back to me in English, they're basically saying, your Japanese isn't good enough. I'm going to talk to you in your language because mine's better than you. So they don't do that. When I speak in English first, they will reply in English if they speak some. I spoke English first to this guy. He replied in English, and of course I didn't know at the time how good his English was. It wasn't as good as I thought. So when I was asking him about the power, he laughed and said, slower, please. So it would have been rude of me to go straight into full Japanese because he was making the attempt in English, and that's proper etiquette when you're talking different languages with him. So when he said full duplex, he said UHF, 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 VHF, VHF, VA. He went through all of it. It was kind of funny. So this is going to be a pretty cool radio, I think. I think this one stole the show.
James is asking the price on the radio.
No, I've heard. No, I didn't see a price on it. I don't know, Walter, if you saw something. I didn't see anything in the book. The guesses have been 1,200 to 1,500, 1,600 is what I've kind of been seeing everybody guess, kind of around the 705 range. If Yaesu does what they've always done, it may be slightly less than the 705. And so I think the 705 came out at 1,500.
Jordan also pre-ordered it from HRO. So
yeah, I already paid $35 for it, so that's pretty cheap. That's the cheapest radio I've.
So did this radio have Chris is asking, did you hear this had an internal sound interface for doing digital?
When he said the USB-C was I/O, I'm guessing that means that there's something in it internally, unless that means something else. But that's a good question. I should have asked. I think 1,200 is I think 1,200 is a good guess. 12 to 1,500 tops is my guess.
So Scott's saying, Crux said on social media, said this will be a game changer. And I'm telling you, that display and the way it looks right there is damn sexy. I would love to have that in a mobile setup.
It was beautiful.
All mode setup. Just put in my vehicle and just 2 antennas on the back, an ATAS and a 2-meter 440.
That's a good question. Can someone answer this?
Any 705 users out there?
No, let's see. Yeah, someone answered that. Let's see, did they do a side view on this? No, they did not. Dang it. All right, let me get to the side view, guys. Yeah, here's Here's the guy.
Do 20 watts on external power or no?
See how he's laughing?
Can you speak more slowly?
Can you
external
speak?
power. Need you.
I almost went into Japanese and then I corrected myself because he was just asking me to go slower. So I continued and I said, "Ano," and I almost started Japanese, but I continued in English just to not kind of, keep, just to be proper.
10
watts.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
he was
10 watts
10 watts
on external power. 10
external,
watts on the lithium.
and I made a
iron
mistake. I said
phosphate
12.8 volts.
battery. Lithium lipo. Okay.
So it's lithium ion.
So lithium iron
not phosphate.
phosphate. Oh, lithium ion. Okay. It's 6 watts.
6 watts.
Okay.
He was very
SSB,
nice.
6 watts.
FM 6 watts.
FM 6 watts. And then if you run external power, 12.8 volt.
That was a
External
mistake
power.
on the voltage.
10 watts. 10 watts. Okay. Thank you.
See how gracious he is, though? He's bowing through the whole time and making the effort and bowing because of the exchange and the mutual respect of me from his perspective, working with his level of English, and that's why he's bowing so much. Just respect. I love the culture. And
So
laughing.
10 watts external
you know.
power, guys. 6 watts. Otherwise, on a nice, compact, beautiful setup.
So let's make sure I don't miss any. Okay, so Andy, welcome, brother. Good to see you. Always good to see you, Andy. Thanks for joining. So real quick, guys, I'll go over the. I was going over this last night on Josh's stream in the chat on Discord. So what I've found is 5 configurations, and it is battery and tuner, fan, and tuner. Those are the configurations. It's on the back of the. That's going to be too glossy to see, and those are the only ones I could see. And it showed the ATAS-25, which is a manual antenna, so that's compatible with any of them. I wager that they're going to make the ATAS-120 compatible as well. But remember, that probably uses battery power, so it might not be great for battery power POTA, but hopefully they'll be able to use the ATAS-120 because that's a great antenna. Even if it's on battery, like an external LiPo battery or some kind of backup generator power or something like that. But yeah, that's.
Preach it, Scott.
And
Preach it.
Yeah, I'm sure they talked about that last night on a crash course. I think this is going to be like Glocks in the gun world, like Jeeps in the automobile world. I think you're going to see a lot of add-ons and people making all sorts of stuff for this. All right. Let me see if I can find that side view. That was the fan there. I think it was. Here we go. Let's see if I can get zoomed in on this. Because right here, the bottom is USB. I thought that I saw. Oh no, you know what I saw? I saw the mic port. Someone corrected me. I thought it might have been an Ethernet, but it's a mic port. So this is the fan in the middle, and this is the tuner. So there's this gap here to allow heat to leave and the fan to work properly. And then in the some of the parts I was able to translate the brochure. It says to comfortably operate FT8, something like that. To operate FT8 comfortably or something. So sound like you need the fan to operate digital for some reason.
Digital runs radio is pretty hot.
Yeah. FT4 would probably be a little better, but anyway. I really wish that I had the side view. I hated that they had the bubbles over these. Couldn't get close. So there I got a zoom in of HF, VHF, UHF, all mode. And I don't think it's going to be clear enough, even though I got the side view. And it's hard to pause the video and make it smooth anyway, guys. Walter got a great front image. When I put the final video together of our 20-minute, or what was it, Walter, 30-minute train ride, we went to the main Tokyo big site. It's huge, because that's what we both remember seeing. And then I pulled up the thing on their website, and it said the Gym EX, which was something we passed two train stations prior. So we had to backtrack, get back on the train, and go 2 train stations beforehand. But Walter pointed out we ended up in a perfect spot in the line because I was right in the center and was able to record the opening ceremony, which was kind of cool. Yeah, sorry guys, I was just trying to find that side image.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that video and the food that you were talking about around some videos.
Okay, so yeah, it's not there, but we'll find out more, guys. This was a good introduction to it. We got to see some firsthand stuff, a lot of pictures online from other people, and
I feel you, D, about reprogramming radios, the programming menu, but you know what? I have one Icom, and it's a pain in the butt too. So I think it's what you're used to, honestly.
So it's
all different languages.
If we're done with the conversation on new radios, any other comments or anything you guys have, questions, that see if I can answer them, or maybe Walter can answer. Go ahead and post it, but we'll move on to the CANtenna. And I've got so Noriyo Kita Mikado is the guy that made it, or at least who I've contacted to talk about it. He made a comment and corrected my video short where I said it's a 2-meter antenna. I was replying to the guys from what was it? Was it Crash Course? No, I can't remember, guys. Anyway, just some of them, they didn't know what it was. They thought it might have been a dummy load and this and that. So I made a mistake and said 2-meter, but it was actually it's a 430 megahertz antenna, this CAN that I got. So let me go to his Facebook page, and we can check out his Facebook page. Here's what he had the day after, or probably the end of Sunday or the end of Saturday. Or no, it would have been his Sunday. He had a Kirin beer, a Ichiban Kirin beer, to finalize his day. And here's the cans he had for sale. These are without the PL259. And I'm glad we bought, Walter. I'm glad we bought the ones with the connector. I think it was double the price or something with the connector, because those connectors, the center pin is a screw. It screws into this. So if I would have come home and not been able to put it on, I would have had to solder it. So that was his show, and there's the guy, and here's the ones we bought. You can see here at the bottom, he's got the 3 cans set up. Here's a Monster drink, and then some Kirin beer, some Asahi beer. But if you look over here, this section by this guy's face, if you look closely, it's kind of hard to see in there because it's kind of a disc cone style setup. He's got some small whips attached to the base here. And that's necessary to go multi-band or to actually tune some of the other band. Even though it said 430 megahertz, guys, I couldn't tune it to 430 megahertz. So what I did was, following his instructions. Oh, whoops! Let's get rid of his. I think that was the last photo. Okay, so that's the Gym EX site where it was, and back to his beer. So we'll go ahead and close that out. I let him know that I was live streaming tonight, and told him I'd like to get in touch with him, and maybe I can do a video with him at some point, just for fun, and he can show off some of his other antennas or CANtennas. So here's the one that Walter and I got. We got the one with this, and as you can see, I've unscrewed it as far as I could, as his instructions explained, to tune it, to more finely tune it. But it was sending it the opposite direction I wanted to go. It was going down to the 220, 230 range, and not up into the 430 range. just as is on my Nano VNA, it was showing 330 center SWR, and I just couldn't tune it. And I don't have any small whips, so I cut a wire with a clamp, and I clamped that on, which is what he talks about, is clamping that on to give it that extra element. And I could cut the size of this, and this was the length. I tried shorter, and I just couldn't get it to 430. I needed it to actually get to 443, I think, is our Wires X repeater, something like that. So I cut it shorter and couldn't get it close to 430. So I cut it longer and saw that it was going into the 220 range. So I'm going to report to him and let him know that it's a 220. They don't really use 220 there, but it's a 220 megahertz CANtenna. And let me
what
set
was
up
his website? What was his call again?
Oh, here it's whoop. Is this
Can
show
you just read it
backwards,
out?
guys?
No, it's
JE6
perfect.
CKL. JE6 CKL. I think he's on X as well as Facebook and possibly Instagram. I can't remember. Noriyo is his first name, and he's a member of the JARL, so that's their ARRL, and they're the ones that help me every year renew. Shout out to Ken at JARL. Every year helps me renew. I send him the papers and the application with another copy of my license, and 3,500 yen, which is about 28 bucks every year through PayPal. And he submits it all to the government. He takes care of all that, the telecommunications there, takes care of all of it, and mails my license to the hotel. So shout out to Ken, who may never see this, but they make it really easy for foreigners to get there.
Chris is asking, what does it look like under the cap?
So, of course, that was the first thing I did. I don't know. Walter could comment if he's still here. What if he's done anything with his? So I thought maybe there's a wire, coil, something in there. So I opened it up. Absolutely nothing. Empty. Let me go over a little bit of what his. Let me go over a little bit of what his. I got to pull it up because it's typed out in English. What I could. With a lot of help from Google Translate, what I could translate. I'm not watching chat now, so let me know if something comes up.
Yeah.
One thing that was funny on one of the pages, it said it was like a disclaimer. It's let me see if I can find it where I wrote it. So one thing he says, he talks about. So you see how he didn't put a lot of work in these. They've got a. Can you still see me, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see it's kind of got a sheen to it. It's kind of got a film, almost like a wrap. You know, they wrap those cars is what it makes me think, or a paint. But he talks about sanding this kind of stuff down, making it better contact, and then if you add, he said you can add more cans in the instructions. So I've got this other one, and you just bolt it here, and he talks about sanding and making the metal contact better because this has a paint or a varnish of some kind, and then you'd have a better contact. He talks about using this second screw to tighten it to the base once you've got it the length you want. He kind of explains a little bit how the antenna works, that it's wider, right? It's a wide antenna as opposed to just a narrow. Let's see, he talks about loosening the bolt. He said something about the radiation angle. Okay, that was fine tuning. Oh, that's right. So what I was finding earlier, he said, no claims, no support, no returns. Item is a junk item. That's how I translate it. The item is a junk item because it's trash. So he says the item is a junk item. I make no claims, no support, no returns, which I thought was funny.
But he gets you thinking. How can I engineer stuff out trash? You know, and kind of reminds me of Lee. Lee can make a ton of things. He was a technician with a extra class brain when he looked at stuff like that. So immediately reminded me of Lee Norip. who's silent key now. But we
Shout
would
out
do
to
a
Lee.
lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's see. I did copy and paste a lot of stuff from Google Translate, and then I just verified that it made sense. He says it's a cylindrical structure as the antenna. It behaves in a mysterious way due to its extremely thick size compared to antennas that most people are using or familiar with. You could use either word there. The container is not a member of the non-radial antennas that are generally sold in stores. Therefore, you must use a radial or equivalent antenna when using it. So when I read that, I thought, well, then what's the point of the can? And then I realized he's talking about, like, in my opinion, little ground, like kind of a ground radial or little elements like a discone antenna. Is it discone? I think, yeah. He says when installing it in a car, the SWA may be worse than expected. Rather use a simple magnet base. So you know those magnet bases? I thought I had one. I can't find it. Maybe I gave it to my brother. To screw it into one of those, it seems like it gives you the grounding or radial element that he's talking about is kind of the ideal way to do it. And then he talks about having it stationary. And when I tested it with Scott there from Hamstop in the chat earlier, I was getting scratchy, and it was because I'm holding it and it's wiggling and shaking, and then the little wire element was shaking as well. So stationary definitely works better.
Yeah, definitely using
go ahead.
Definitely using a metal file cabinet with a mag mount with a PL259 on there would be pretty awesome to test with that antenna.
That's what I was really hoping to show for tonight. I couldn't find it. I have a feeling I loaned it gave it to my brother. And then he says this is a container antenna. It is not a finished product. The resonant frequency can be tuned by loosening the screw to change the length, removing the paint or plating. This is where he talks about sanding can increase resonance. Transmission. A little ingenuity. This container can also be used as a whip for, he puts 1200 meter. Did he mean megahertz? 1200 megahertz? And I don't have anything to test that or to try it. So anyway, yeah, I'm assuming he meant megahertz, but that may be something they use a lot. I've never used anything in that megahertz range. So, all right, guys. Don't say food, man. Every time I hear food at night, I want to eat because I have late lunch and I don't have a dinner. So what I'll do, guys, later on, I'm going to play with it more. I'm going to start bringing these cans home. I know Tank Radio Frank wanted one, so I may just get a bunch of them and just bring them home. And if I, meet people or whatever, whoever wants them, I can start giving them out. But try using a Coke can or stuff from here, a larger can. Maybe it'll work better. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bolt it through, and I'm going to bring a couple of them home, and I'm going to see how many it takes and at what resonancy each one is. But for now, I'm not going to attach this because when I brought it in and tightened this M3 nut, he called it, to where it wasn't wobbling, it actually was at 1.7. So I'm going to give that a try, and we're going to try to hit the 220. And if Scott's still on, he said he's going to monitor for me. I'm going to see if I can do it from indoors here. If not, I'm going to maybe switch to my phone and then step outside and see if it'll work. So let me connect it. I've got two connectors here to make it work. So there's my 220 HT with 3 connectors to make it work. I bet
you didn't see any Baofengs there, did you? At the Tokyo show.
I actually didn't think I should. I can't remember. Walter, did he have B and C connectors, or was it just the 259s? B and C connector would have been better there. Afterwards, I'll pull this off and show you. The center connector is actually really tight because it's the screw, the female side of this screw. So it's just a flat-ended like rod. I don't even know. I've never seen them before. So anyway, that's his CANtenna. So Scott, are you? Oh, thanks, Walter. Yeah, it was just 259. I think a B and C would be better because, at least for these smaller ones, it just seems like the BNC would work better, or even an SMA, I guess, in that for that matter. So I'm going to give it a try here, guys. I'm going to key up, and then we'll just see if we can hit it. Okay, so Scott's on there. Let's see what we can get. KG5 RJR. This is K5 VLP. Do you copy? Oh, and hold on.
So you're doing the
Also,
Denver computer.
yeah. Also, I want to say, guys. Scott, how am I coming in sitting at my desk? Is it not as good as outside? I may have to step. Okay. Let me move over here. I'm going to step back here a little bit, guys. I'm just going to go to the window. KG5 RJR K5 EOP. Over. All right, very good. I just had to come to the window to make it clearer, so I appreciate the comeback. I'm going to go back over if you want to talk so they can hear the clarity from you at least. But thanks for hanging out for me and doing this for the live stream, K5 VOP. And I'll clear out on your final and get back to the stream.
Not quite picking him up there, Paul, but I can.
Did you not get it?
No, you're just too far away from the mic with that speaker, I guess. So very cool.
Did you not hear Scott that time on that last one when I was closer?
Little bitty snippets.
Okay.
I think it's just a distance from the mic.
Scott, can you come back and maybe do a final or something? I'm going to put you next to the mic.
Seconds lag here on the video, so yeah, okay, I'll box this round, and so far so good. You sounded great. Of course, you got to the window. Of course, the better you sounded. KG5 RGR.
Perfect. Good to hear you, Scott.
Thanks again, Scott. K5 VOP clear.
It works.
All right. So, guys, I didn't even have it on that time. Like I said, I retested it with this tight because Scott told me that it wasn't clear. Okay, I had to turn that off. So I just tighten this M3 bolt down, and so it doesn't wiggle. I kind of shake just kind of naturally anyway, but obviously that's what it was. It was just a little too loose. So right now, I'm going to let him know, Noriyo, that I'm going to send him a message and let him know that it does work perfectly on 220, and I'm going to have to play around with it to get it on 70 centimeter. But I just want you guys to notice, now I'm really red. The funny thing is, I think this one's just 5 watts. I can't remember. Or was it 1.5 watt? I can't remember. What is it? Anyway, it turns off my ring light. So it turned off my ring light and it freezes it. I'm hitting the power button. It locks it up. Hold on, guys. I say guys too much, I know. Okay. There we go. So it turns off the big ring light in the middle, and my Innovato ham clock, it makes the screen turn off and on just from a couple of watts on an HT. But the can must resonate kind of at a weird angle, I assume.
Those lights aren't ham proof.
Yeah,
but heck of an idea for a survival antenna. I agree with you, Scott.
So do you want to see you guys? I mean, it's a real steep dip in that 224-ish range. I don't know if you guys wanted to see it on the scope or not, but I suppose I could. And well, it's laying on its side, so let me
now,
do
Paul,
this.
Just thoughts on an antenna. You might not necessarily need the wire attached to it because you are the radio. When you hold the radio like that in your hand, you become the radio, so the wire is useless. I've seen there was a trend there for a while, about 10 years ago, where people were putting wires on their HTs just to have a radio on their HTs when it was
All right, I'll try
useless because your arm is your radio.
I'll try to get the mic over. You hear me okay?
Yeah, just fine.
Okay, so you guys, let me bring it down a little bit. Let me get it closer.
Yeah.
Move everything out of the way. Here's the sweet patch Walter and I got. We had to get it. What was that, Walter?
Like Boy Scout or from Scouts?
Yeah, they had this patch. You can see the BSA logo here. I'm not sure what that call is. I'm gonna have to look that up. I just noticed it. $3 or $4. I can't remember. $3, something like that. But it was cool. And you know what I totally forgot to look for was hats and stuff from HamCon or the Ham Fair. I thought about it later and was kind of upset. But so you see, guys, like touching this thing is so it like totally just messes it up. So you can see the dip right now is the middle. My middle line is 2. So the line there in the middle, the single digit, that's 2. And then the top is 3, bottom is 1.25, I think. So again, it's laying down. So the SWR is not as good, but look, just waving my hand near it is, it kind of affects it. I'm just putting my hand by it. So, and then I thought, let's attach this clip, see what it does. And look at that. Now it's a spike. Now it's a better spike, right? What is that? 1.6. So, let's see. Look, I'm touching the nano VNA and it's messing it up. It's very, very touchy. Let's see what that's at. Man, that's at, good grief, guys. Sorry, getting old. That's 195 megahertz there, that real dip. So it's not really useful. But yeah, you can see how it's really, really touchy. So at some point I'll make a video. We'll play around with some of these cans and I'll bring a few of them home and I'll just start stacking them together and we'll see how many cans it takes to do. Who said it? 10 meters. How many it would take to do 10 meters. Oh, have the tall boys for 6 meters from James. Nice.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, okay. So think about it. Who said that? Scott, survival antenna. All right, guys. So think about it. You're in the, let me take that clip off. You're in the zombie apocalypse and your antenna whip has broken because it's the rubber ducky from the manufacturer and it's snapped. All you got to do is get your radio connected to the closest metal can and you can communicate for help and get some backup against those zombies. There is a use. Yeah, consume the can for, I don't know.
I volunteer.
Good grief. I look like I've been sunburned. Something's going on. I think I have the camera set for.
You're doing all right, Paul.
A different. It's still set for the Ham Fair stuff. All right, let's go back. I'll get rid of that. I think that was it, guys. Hey, Bob, welcome.
I have 3 things to mention from your video that I really enjoyed.
The vertical view.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Everybody should do that. Okay. Honestly, when you met with the Scouts and you said Eagle Scout, and they immediately perked up when they learned that you were an Eagle Scout. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, internationally, have a scout from the United States to a Japanese scout. That was pretty cool. Second thing that I thought was pretty cool was the fact that there were all these clubs out there, and they're doing the exact same things that we are in the U.S. They're doing fox hunting. They're doing antenna builds. They're doing just about everything that we're doing here, and we have groups that like to do. They have clubs to do that over there, so that was pretty cool. And then the third thing that I thought was awesome, and we need to start integrating this into our own ham fest. Now they may do it at Dayton or Huntsville. I don't know. I have not been to either one of those, but what is so cool is that they had a ring full of tables where people were doing projects.
So,
And I'd like
so
to
you're
see
talking about the
that.
tables, and that's something that Walter and I were kicking our butts ourselves for, because that it was $3 for that little. You remember the straight key the guy was
Right.
building? If you guys saw the video, it was $3 or $4. Neither of us, we left afterwards. We're like, why didn't we buy one of those? It made no sense. We could have bought it, brought it home, maybe even tried to create another one and do something similar in the local club. But I'm going to try to find who that was, or maybe JRL knows, because it was so cool. It was like $3 or $4. I mean, a club could do something like that. Try to get like kids involved and not even charge a couple bucks, raise some money from the local hams and make the kits for cheap. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
But having a project room like that, I just thought was awesome. And you could have multiple projects with multiple presenters just all doing that in there. I like to see more of that around here. And I like to see a Tokyo ham bingo card. I wonder what you would put on the Tokyo ham bingo card. I did see one ham about. I didn't see him run over anybody's foot, so you can't block out that space.
Yeah.
But no shirt stains anywhere. No shirt stains. So you'll have to create a whole new card for Japan.
Yep. I don't know, Walter, if you want me to say anything about the QSO, let me know in the chat if you're still here. If you don't want me to say anything, I'm not sure how that all works. So umbrella. Okay. I'll put some feelers out. I'll try to contact some of these guys. This Noriyo, maybe Ken at JRL, see if I can find that kit. I've seen pictures of it. Other guys posted pictures of that straight key. Okay. So on the flight back, Walter's the captain, so basically do whatever he wants. He got on and made a QSO with a guy in Ohio, I think. If correct me if I'm wrong, Ohio or Iowa, I think Ohio, and just said how surprised the guy was that he was up in the air making a QSO. So I thought that was cool from the plane, but that was awesome.
Yeah, those aeronautical mobiles are always fun. In fact, Aerojester's with us today, and I've talked to him while he's flying his plane. And my brother used to have a plane, and I remember talking. And this is another Lee story. I remember talking on a Wushan from about 9,000 feet, and I'm hitting Bedford, I'm hitting Johnson County, I'm hitting all over the place. And Lee kept coming back saying, I'm amazed you're in Oklahoma and I can hear you just like you're next door. I'm like, Lee, somebody in Johnson County is trying to get a hold of me right now. But he was so amazed with that. So Chris asking which frequency. Walter
will have to answer that one. Yeah, there's a guy that's he's kind of in some of the groups of YouTubers, and he does parachute. Takes his radio up. Does
Carlos?
What's the
yeah.
velocity? What's
terminal? Hang on. Something velocity.
Yeah, he was on 20 meters.
Yeah, I have a video which I had a lot of brand new hams get on there, and he was doing a POTA that day. So
there it is. Life at terminal velocity.
Life at terminal velocity. Yes, Carlos is pretty cool. Carlos is pretty cool.
I should know that.
We had a general class, and I think my video title was First Contact. But the guy who's on the other end of that radio, I got to talk to him, found out he had a YouTube channel. I didn't have any idea that he was jumping out of airplanes making QSOs. So that's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, check out my video, First Contact. Of course, I bleep everybody's call signs because I want to be respectful, whether they want their call sign on YouTube or not. But Carlos is pretty cool. It was really good to have a QSO with him.
Yeah, I just watched the YouTubers roundtable or whatever that was called in Huntsville a couple hours ago. So I should have remembered his channel because I was listening to him talk. Yeah, next year I'm just gonna have to schedule it and do it. I hate that I couldn't go to ZionCom, HamCom, and I hate that I couldn't go to Huntsville.
Well, Paul, when you go to Huntsville, I'm going to go with you this next time.
Yeah, it's a 10-hour drive, basically 9-10 hours. So be a fun drive.
Road trip.
And then maybe just camp in the back of the truck somewhere. I don't know.
Yep, Chris, I'd like to meet Carlos in person because that was really neat to discover him through ham radio.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
he also does install videos. Cool.
Yeah, I usually see him when he's doing what's that nightly stream Clubhouse or whatever. I usually see him on there, I think.
What's cool with him is he'll do a jump and get on 10 meters and ask for technician only licenses. So all these techs get to talk to him while he's parachuting, and they're on the video. So he does some really cool stuff.
All right, guys. So I want you to put one for Icom, 2 for Yaesu, or 3 for Kenwood. Which one you think of my videos of each radio got the most? And put them in order. 1 for Icom, 2 for Yaesu, 3 for Kenwood. The most to the least views of the videos I've uploaded separately of each video. 1 for Icom, 2 for Yaesu, 3 for Kenwood.
Boy, I'm getting a lot of variations here.
Yeah. It's not what I thought.
A few times.
It's not what I thought. Well, it's not what I thought before. It would have been before the show. After the show, going off of my own thoughts, it made sense. But all right, let me share so you know I'm not making things up. Okay, this one, Yaesu, 2,716 was the best. That's the most viewed of the 3. Second was Kenwood with 1,900, about just a little bit behind. And look, the Icom is only 197 views, guys. As much hype as there was, and I thought that was going to be the main reason people watch, not that many people are interested in it. They're more interested in the Yaesu and then the Kenwood, which I thought was interesting. So it would be 2, 3, 1. Who got it? Bob got it. 2, 3, 1. D got it. And anybody else? 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1. No. Yeah, I think price, I think, is huge. I wasn't going there to see, this new Icon that I may buy someday. I was just going there to see it.
And there's so much YouTube on Icom. They want to hear about the others. I agree with D on that.
Yeah. It's too bad Kenwood didn't have more information. I think it's going to be a good radio. My first radio was the V71. And I think it's going to be a good radio.
Anybody want to take a guess on what my first radio was?
Yeah, Chris, you're right. You're right, Walter. Price point, 100%.
So anybody want to take a wild guess which my first radio was? And no, it wasn't a Bell thing. It's a mobile. What would a brand new ham convince his then wife to buy?
Motorola? I don't know.
Not a Motorola. Nobody's
FRS?
wanting to take a guess. Nope, not the 400, but you're in the, I think, older, Scott. Older than the 400. This is this is
I
when
forget what the other-
it has wires.
like
It does not have wires X.
6,000 or something like that. I forget what the previous mobiles were.
Yeah, it's got wires, but it did not have wires X.
Andy, is that your guess on the price of the Yaesu?
Nope, not the FT60.
The 6,000.
Right number of digits, James, but no.
6,800. $705. That one's dead already. Beautiful radio. Yeah, the
So
6,000 for that
yeah.
Icom.
It is a mobile, and I'm still using it as my base radio now, but it was my mobile. 3,100, a little higher on the number there.
I think you're just gonna have to tell him.
Oh man, I just want to see if somebody can guess it. It is a
There-
there you go. Elmer handed me a UV5R and said go. So there you go. My very first radio was an FT-7900. Oh, he
7900.
popped it right there as I was saying it.
Nice
Good
timing.
job, James. Good job. So FT-7900, and I'm still using that radio. I run nets from that radio, so it's a great radio. It's served me very well.
I'm hoping it's not this high, Andy, but I think that's a good guess for the Yaesu. I'm hoping it's closer to the $1,200 to $1,300, $1,400 range, but it is a good radio, and there's a lot of. I'm sure they're going to get a ton of pre-orders, and that may dictate the price a little higher than we want.
And my second radio was the Wushan UVD-1P. And I beat that thing to bits before it finally stopped working on me.
Man, it's so funny. I'm watching the color of my face, and it's changing like I just ain't the everlasting gobstopper of Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
Oh, you're a little vain there, sir.
Oompa, loompa, doompa tee doo. I don't know why it's so freaking red. It's crazy. All right, guys. I'm so embarrassed. No, just kidding. That's pretty much it for tonight, guys. Anything, any other comments? Anyone want to finish this with?
Paul, what was your first radio? Again, did you say?
Kenwood's B71.
B71.
A,
What's your-
I think.
Is
Echolink
that-
compatible.
Okay.
FT8 on a screen. FT8 on a screen. Oh, you mean right now? Am I running FT8? Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I still have the camera set to auto white balance or something. It's messing up. I used to have it set. Thanks, Walter. Thanks for coming, man. I had a good time. Hopefully we can do it again next year. James, let me know what you mean on the screen. I don't have the radio on right now, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I'll have my, see if I get closer. Yeah, it's auto white balancing, and it's screwing up my colors. Honestly, guys, I'm not this red usually.
Usually.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the camera, it's a great camera, but it's automatic feature for this isn't the best. Yeah, James, if you're asking, I don't have my radio on right now. It's disconnected. It's not up and running. I got to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna get going and maybe operate. If it's not too hot, I'll open the window and operate from Japan this week. If not, I may have to wait till September, October, guys. I hate opening the window. I put that in-fed antenna out, the Aries from the Coffee and Ham Radios guys, and so I have to have the window cracked. and it's just too hot.
Yeah, it's just as hot in Tokyo as it is here.
Yeah. So
This is exceptionally hot summer here. I guess it is in Tokyo too.
well, guys, we're going to call it. I want to thank everyone. It was a great stream, a lot of great comments. And again, I am not ill with any kind of color distortion. So don't worry. I will be back next Sunday night. And I'll try to put together the whole video. Walter took some video from the plane. He took a couple solo shots. And then I GoPro'd the whole trip through the Tokyo subway as we got there. I'll speed that up so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. And I'll try to make a nice video and get it out later this week. And hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. But that's it for tonight. Michael, you got anything you want to announce?
Nothing to announce. I just appreciate everybody coming in and really look forward to your training video and maybe a little bit of the food there.
Oh, yeah. And
everybody
what
wants the food. In fact, they were all screaming about the food during the live stream. But Paul,
what we had for
I was
breakfast.
pretty crowded there. Yeah, what you had for breakfast, but I think if I go to the Tokyo Ham Fest, I'm going to every food stall and doing a deep dive there. That looked pretty cool. So, yeah,
all right, 73, and we're going to end on Dee's comment here. Be excellent to each other, and we'll see you guys next week on the Sunday Night Ragchew. Have a good night, guys.
Good night,
73s.